Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. Welcome to Lives Review TV Forensic Channel, and I am Pastor Malcolm or Rabbi Malcolm. In less than 300 seconds, that is in less than 5 minutes, I will be talking about the tithe. Now, because of the time frame, I will not be delving into scriptures, I will not be going into scriptures. But if you want to understand this topic from Bible's perspective, then I invite you to join us every Sunday, 10 a.m. in Verona. If you're not in Verona, then you're welcome to join us online, or you can write me, or you can call me. Now, straight to the point. Should you tithe or should you not tithe? Big question. Now, to answer this question, we must first understand that in reality, tithing in itself is not important to God. Tithing in of itself is not important to God. There are two things that are more important to God, or rather I would say there are two rules that are more important to God, and these two rules is what governs the tithe. Whether we're speaking of the Old Testament or the New Testament, these two rules governs the tithe. And these two rules are, number one, obedience to the authority you submit under. It's important to take note. Obedience to the authority you submit under is the first rule. Number two, the law of generosity, which is also called the law of give and receive. Now let's start with the first rule, which is obedience to the authority you submit under. God is not an author of confusion. So if the church or the spiritual authority where you fellowship has tithing, if they have tithing as part of their doctrine and they emphasize the payment of the tithe, for as long as you desire to continue to fellowship in that atmosphere and be a part of that assembly, then you should tithe. As long as it's what the leadership are doing or accept to do. Take note, your refusal to tithe in a church where tithing is a part of their belief is a sign of rebellion. And rebellion is a sin. And if you continue to live in sin, it brings a curse. Now this is where the curse of the tithe comes from. Rebellion. So, if you do not agree with the doctrine of the spiritual authority under which where you submit yourself, if you do not accept the spiritual authority, the doctrine of the spiritual authority, if you do not accept that doctrine, then it is better you leave the church than fighting the leadership. Take note, even when you are more knowledgeable than your leaders, fighting the leadership of the church has spiritual consequences. Even when you feel you're more knowledgeable, you are more enlightened than the leaders, fighting the authority you have placed yourself under has spiritual consequences. Now let's move to the second rule, which is the law of give and receive, the law of generosity. This is a universal law. It matters less your religion. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter your spiritual inclination. It's God's law for all of humanity. Now, I want you to know that it is the law of generosity, the law of give and receive, that operates when you tithe. When you tithe, it is the law of generosity or the law of give and receive that operates. There are no special blessings for tithers outside the law of generosity. There are no special blessing outside this law. As the law of generosity, the law of give and receive that operates when you tithe. He that sows sparingly shall reap sparingly. He that soweth bountifully or generously shall also reap generously or bountifully. Now I hope this message is a very short message, but I hope it summarizes the message of the tithing. And I hope it finally puts to rest the commotion or the hula baloos between preachers over the tithe. God bless you and stay tuned.